Hi, I'm Anita of my Duke and I podcast, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And if you're seeing the show for the very first time and you like the show, please subscribe, like, and share, and hit that notification bell so when an episode comes out, you'll be the first to know. Well, there is so much happening, and I don't know where to start. But I'm going to start off with the most current news. I'm going to start off with that birthday phone call. So it has been alleged, and it's all over the news basically, that Harry and Meghan called Charles to wish him a happy birthday. They even alleged that Lily and Archie made a video singing happy birthday to Charles. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I don't know if it happened, but it's very hard for me to believe anything that is printed or said in the UK media. They have gotten it wrong so many times. There's been so many mistruths printed about Harry and Meghan that I am right now confused. I don't know if it happened. So until Harry and Meghan says that they did call Charles for his 75th birthday, that's when I'm going to believe it. But right now, it's just hard to believe anything that is said by the press coming from the United Kingdom. They have definitely put distrust in me, and I cannot believe anything that they say. Because through all the reading that I've been doing, you would hear this article says they did. This article would say, oh, it never happened, and so on. So it's just so confusing. Now, the second thing that I wanted to point out is that if Harry feels like he wants to call his father and wish him a happy birthday, that is Harry's prerogative. The thing about it is that the way I look at the Sussexes, I want to love the Sussexes unconditionally. I do not want to put any conditions on my love for them and my support for them. Because one thing I know is every time anybody does that, they're setting up themselves for disappointments. Because, case in point, Harry and Meghan went to Katy Perry's concert in Las Vegas. Now, Katy Perry has been very rude in the public about Meghan. And you would think if it were me, I wouldn't want to be anywhere that she is. But Harry and Meghan, they are beautiful people, kind-hearted, and they went to her concert. So I don't want to put conditions on them as to what they should do, because they're grown individuals. At the end of the day, we are watching Harry and Meghan from the outside looking in. We're not on the inside. We don't know what is going on in this small circle that they have, their tight-knit circle. So we can only support them unconditionally. So at this point, I'm going to continue loving them, even though it is true that they did call Charles and wish him happy birthday. At the end of the day, that is Harry's dad. And it is not for me to say what he should do or shouldn't do. Okay? It's not my decision. We know that Charles has been a terrible dad to Harry. Case in point, as it was reported today, that Charles had the opportunity to include Harry or to inform him of his grandmother's passing, but instead they went about it in a way to exclude Harry. They announced that the Queen had passed without informing Harry first. They announced it to the public. They didn't include him, and they knew how close Harry was to his grandmother. What they did to him during the time that the Queen was passing, you know, Harry was in England, and they could have informed him while they were preparing for the Queen's last days, last hours. They could have included him and informed him about what was happening, given that, you know, she and Harry was so close. But they excluded him. I know that is very painful for Harry. And Harry said that his grandmother would have wanted him next to her during her last few breaths, during her last hours, and they denied him of that opportunity. That is cruel, and to me, unforgivable. But at the end of the day, as I said, it is Harry's decision to make. Charles has done a lot of terrible things to Harry, and he hasn't been there as a father. But I think for Harry's mental health and for his sanity and for peace and all the therapy I believe that he's getting, I think he doesn't want to have that type of negativity in his life. And I'm just, you know, this is me just guessing as to what I think is happening. And I could be wrong, please. I could be wrong. He doesn't want all of that. He doesn't want the negativity. He just wants to let that chapter in his life go. He doesn't want to deal with the negativity. Okay, so that was terrible, but he's moving on from it. And apparently the people that are actually holding grudges is his brother and apparently his brother's wife, Kate. William seems to not understanding that Harry is a grown man making his own decisions, and the fact that he's married and he's moved on. He cannot respect that. He's saying that he doesn't recognize Harry, and Harry seems to have been brainwashed by therapists, and he doesn't recognize this Harry. What I believe he really wanted at the end of the day is for Harry to be a lap dog, literally, for him and his wife, and not have his own identity, and still be in the royal family, being abused and being, literally, as Harry put it, the spear. Just as Harry said, if they need a kidney. Did he say that? I can't remember what was it in the book. It's been a while now. You know, if they need some type of body part that Harry can stand in. And, you know, they're saying that, well, Harry did say that he deserves an apology, as well as an apology for his wife, and he wants them to be accountable for their actions. And I don't think that the type of person that William is, Harry is going to get that apology. He's not going to get it, so he has to move on. He cannot sit there waiting on the actions of somebody else, because at the end of the day, they will be holding the cards. You know, they will be willing, you know, they will have the power over you. So I think at the end of the day, he just has to live his life and move on and accept what is. But I know Did Dong, as he said, he loves his family and he really wants a relationship with them. He said that on television. So let us hope that Harry gets what he thinks is best for him. There I go with the unconditional love for Harry and Meghan. Whatever is best for him is good enough for me. Okay? So, Omid's book, I don't know if it's going to be serialized, but apparently he's dropping, you know, little pieces of what is in his book, and they definitely, Omid and People magazine definitely sort of like cleared out all the mistruths and exactly what went on during the journey that Harry took, how he, you know, when he got the call, when he knew what arrangements that they had and what have you during the time that the Queen was taking her last breaths. It's very sad. It's very sad, because it didn't have to go down like that, and it did. So we just have to pray for Harry that he finds peace and he's able to move on from all of that, because I know that must be definitely on his mind, and how he would have wanted that so much, to have the opportunity to spend some time with her. Here he was talking to her when she was gone, you know, saying to her that she's going to meet Philip. It must have been something. I'm just imagining that here you are talking to a corpse, literally, and it didn't have to be like that. He could have been talking to her when she was alive, but he wasn't given that opportunity. He was not given that opportunity. The poor man didn't even know that his grandmother had passed until it was announced. His family didn't even give him the dignity to be informed by them. He had to hear it on the news from Meghan. It's really sad. That is a jacked up, dysfunctional family. Truly jacked up and dysfunctional. They are dysfunctional. They are not living for family. They're living for the public. And their actions are based on the public's opinions. That is it. Period. So essentially, when you think about it, they're a farce. They're not real because they're not doing what they want to do and what is right to do. They're doing what they believe that the public want from them or what would appease the public. It's certainly a gilded cage. What a life. Harry had a right to get up and move to California and get out of that situation, because that's not living. That is definitely not living. I wouldn't want that for myself. Freedom is too good. Harry did say, you know, that he is on the freedom plane. And that book Omid wrote about them was called Finding Freedom. See, and guys, when I do my show, I'm just speaking from the heart. I would read and I just speak from the heart, and I just speak freely. And it just sort of like dawned on me that you know, Harry has found freedom. When I thought of everything that I said, when you put it together and you sum it up, it's literally freedom. Yep. It's literally freedom. It's something else. So my dream for Harry is that he's able to move on and find, you know, the peace and the accountability that he's looking for. He said he wants accountability. The accountability that he's looking for, I hope he gets it. Because at some point, somebody has to realize that what they're doing is absolutely wrong. And when you have children, you have to do everything in your power to make them happy. And you want to do right by them. So I hope Charles does right by Harry. I don't have hope for William, because William is hell bent on being king. And just like how Charles has been hell bent on being king, I think that's the same way William is thinking. He has tunnel vision right now, and he's just thinking about the throne. So Omid said that his loyalty is to, you know, the royal family and the monarchy, and that's his tunnel vision. That's where he's looking. He's looking at nothing else at this point, unless something really tragic happens and he has to put things into perspective. I think that's probably when he would probably have a change of heart. But right now, everything is perfect for him. He's, you know, on course to be the next king. He's certainly, you know, he's doing what he has to do, and he's just going to continue that path unless something happens. Lord, what a mess. What a mess. I know Diana would never want, she definitely would never have wanted this for her children. And this is something else. What a mess. What a mess. But anyways, I'm going to move on from that, because in talking about it, it makes me very sad. It makes me sad. It makes me ponder. I'm talking to you guys, but I think about my own children, my 4 boys. One thing I always tell them is to stick together no matter what. Stick together. You guys, you will have, that's all you all have is yourselves, and you all have to stick together regardless of what. Yep. Oh my goodness. But anyways, I'm going to move on. So I'm going to move on to Meghan's last sighting with her friend Kelly McGee Jashfin. That's her name, Kelly McGee Jashfin. And you know, Kelly McGee, she has this non-for-profit organization. I think she's partnered with somebody. I think they co-founded it, and it's called Alliance of Moms, where they sort of provide or supports moms or teen moms, young moms that are in the foster care system. And I think Meghan was at one of their events, and she had put out something on Instagram praising Meghan, and you know, like everybody else who has met Meghan, you know, saying how Meghan was so, in essence, so compassionate and thoughtful and so on. And everybody who's met Meghan, they've always said the same thing about her. So that's not a surprise there. And, you know, one of the things, you know, that has happened to Kelly is the passing of her son. And literally, why do there has to be a day like this where I'm just talking about death? Okay, just talking about death. But a young boy, George, you know, they found him unresponsive, and he died. And I believe he was 9 years old when he passed. And Meghan and Harry donated, I think, $5,000 to a GoFundMe in his name. And they literally, they made the donation on behalf of Archie and Lily. So, you know, I think with all of this, they've, you know, connected, and, you know, that's whatever she's doing over there, the non-for-profit organization, is right up Meghan's sleeve. Meghan, you know, she's a compassionate individual, and those are the things that drives her, and she's attracted to. So it's not a surprise that they have become friends, and you saw them, you know, going out to lunch, and who knows what they were talking about. It could be something that they were working on. We don't know why they were having lunch. But the pictures and them, they came out when, you know, around Charles's, you know, birthday engagements that he was having. It seems like he's been having a whole week celebration of his birthday. So it came out around that time. And one of the things that, you know, the Rangers and the haters and the, you know, different publications have been saying is that Meghan and Harry, they tend to put out things around the time that, you know, the royal family is having their engagements. Now, one of the problems that I have with that is that they believe that Harry and Meghan should, you know, set their schedules or make their schedules around the royal family. They should tiptoe around the royal family. No. they're not part of the royal family. They should have their engagements anytime they want to, or they shouldn't have to look at the royal family's calendar to decide when to do something. They're grown people. They have their individual lives. They're not, dependent on, the British royal family. So they should not be setting their calendar and tiptoeing around them. So that's one of the problems that I have. But anyways, all of what is happening is nothing more than the press that is creating those situations. They are holding on to photos of Harry and Meghan, and they are releasing them during the time that Charles or William or Kate is having an event, so that they could get more bang for their is more bucks for their bang, or bang for their bucks. I don't know how to call it, but what they're doing literally is holding off on those images, because they published those images, what was it, Tuesday? But the that launch took place on Friday before, so it was last week they had the launch, but they saved those photos to release them to coincide with the events that Charles was having for his birthday, so that the public can say, look, Harry and Meghan are always, coming out or doing something to overshadow the members of the royal family. But it is nothing more than lies. This is nothing more than the doing of the media, because what they want is to be able to get attention, to have people clicking, at the things that they publish, because guess what? It's like a combination, it's like a tornado of news. It's just a lot of, talk that is going on around that time. So they're saving those images, they're saving all of that for them to get more clicks on those websites. That's all what that's basically what they're doing. Yeah, that's what they're doing. What is the next thing I'm going to talk about? Yeah, so just a lot of mess. Yeah, so here this girl, Briana Sanchez, I posted some of her, I posted a video that she put out on Instagram where, Harry and Meghan was at the Navy SEAL inauguration, and she was there as well. So I think she took a selfie, or somebody took a picture of she and Meghan, and she was so excited, about the picture, about getting a picture with Meghan. She posted, what she had on Instagram, and well, some of Meghan's fans, the Sussex's fans, attacked her basically on social media, saying that she was part of the Rangers. She purposely put out those photoshopped images, but they weren't photoshopped images. Sometimes you could have a picture that is not perfect. You could have a picture that has a wrong angle, wrong, bad lighting, and it just looks the way that it looks. It just, even the people in the background in the picture was looking sort of like warped and funny, so I don't know what happened to the picture. I don't know what phone she was using, what is the number on the that she chose. I don't know what happened, but anyways, the picture didn't look as we know Meghan. So, you know, people thought that it was, you know, that, you know, she was, you know, a deranger and she did it on purpose, or she was working for the press or whatever. It is just a lot of conspiracy theories. So anyways, she deleted the photos that she had. She came out, it was a lot of pressure. She deleted them, and so she made this video to clarify that she's a fan of Meghan. And not only were they accusing her of having these photoshopped images of Meghan, but also the Rangers, what they were doing, they were criticizing Meghan's look, criticizing her fingernails and what have you. So she you know, she literally told them exactly how she felt. She gave them a piece of her mind. She was really upset. She said that she's a fan of Meghan. She would, you know, she didn't do anything like that. So that's how that went down. I'll put a video in there so that you can see what she said. So that didn't go down good. Well, I'm not surprised. I have a lot of, even though I'm a huge Meghan and Harry supporter, and I was there from the beginning, I would say, and I used to do the same thing that I'm doing. I never stopped. The same thing that I'm doing, I never stopped. I used to do it in the past. And, you know, everybody knows that I had, you know, a partner at one point, and the relationship sort of, you know, didn't work out, and I end up, you know, here I am continuing doing what I'm doing. And a lot of people did not know what happened, but they chose sides, and, you know, they chose to attack me and try to drag me on Twitter. And yes, so I definitely understand a little of what she's going through, you know. So it happened to me. Yes, it did happen to me. So, but you know, she clarified, she made herself, you know, she made people aware of where she stands with Meghan. So that was good, and we're moving on. We're moving on. Yes. Yeah, so that was that. What's the next piece? Yeah, yes. Yeah, so the next piece was, yeah, I want to talk about Kate. So I was looking at Kate's speech today, and I must say, and I'll give credit where credit is due, I must say she picked up the pace. Normally when she gives her speeches, she like says each word, and each word is hanging by itself. She doesn't really use syntax when she's giving her speech. So, you know, like when you have a comma, you're supposed to, when you're reading, you're supposed to pause at a comma, and then, you know, and then when you get to a full stop, you do a full stop, and then you wait, and then you carry on with the next sentence. She didn't used to do that. She said one word, like she would be reading something like, let's say, let me see what I wrote there. No, I don't have a full sentence there. I just wrote like little bullets. So if she's reading a sentence, she would just read each word, and they would be hanging by themselves, and she would literally be like connecting words to words, and she would, like, you know, you wouldn't hear that fluency. She would ignore the syntax in the sentence, like the commas and the exclamations and the period. She would ignore all of that. But today I must say that she was reading with, you know, she was saying certain words with emphasis, and she was paying attention with, paying attention to her commas, and she was literally reading sentences. And I noticed that she was speeding up. You know, she wasn't hanging, so she was speaking at a much faster pace. Mumbles she was today, so I'm gonna give her credit for that. She's making improvements. Somebody is coaching her. Don't know who is coaching her, but somebody is coaching her. So she's definitely getting better at her speeches. But she will never be Meghan, because Meghan don't need to have all these, you know, you know, those cards. Oh, what's wrong with the teleprompter? You know, that she could be reading from the teleprompter, but she has this. Maybe that's how she feels comfortable. And I don't want to say, I may not, you know, judge her. I'm not going to judge her, because at the end of the day, not everybody is comfortable with public speaking. So let me just leave Kate and move on and just stick with Meghan and Harry and continue to support my Duchess and her Duke. Okay? Or her Prince. Oh, did you hear when they were talking about Harry and Meghan, introducing Harry and Meghan at the inauguration of the Navy SEALs facility? They said the Prince and Princess, they said Prince and Princess of Sussex. I know it hurt a lot of people to hear that. The Prince and Princess of Sussex. Oh, Lord. Yes, so, yes, speaking of princess, I got this little quote recently. I saw it on Twitter, what Harry said about Meghan. So I sort of held on to that quote, because there's a lot people are saying about Meghan's looks right now on you know, on Twitter, and all over the place, the deranges. But the only thing that matters in the world is how Harry sees her. That's all that matters. So whatever people have to say about her, it doesn't, it's not that important. It's not important because Harry sees her in the way that he wants to see her. Okay, this is how he sees her. He says, Harry said, for 32 years I'd watched a conveyor belt of faces pass by, and only a handful ever made me look twice. This woman stopped the conveyor belt. This woman smashed the conveyor belt to bits. He said, I'd never seen anyone so beautiful. She is beautiful. Meghan is beautiful on the inside, and she's beautiful on the outside. And the person that matters most is how Harry sees her. Forget about how other people see her. What matters is how Harry sees her. She is beautiful on the inside and the outside. And if, you know, once in a while we get a bad photo of Meghan, and by the way, the press is also taking the worst photos, and they're using that, you know, because everybody can get a bad photo. But I'll tell you, if I get a bad photo with Meghan Markle, I'm waiting for my photo. You see how that lady at the Invictus Games, how Meghan took a photo with her? My face could be looking droopy on that picture. I am going to put that photo up. Okay? I don't care what I look like. I will put that photo up. If I ever get a photo opportunity, if I ever get a photo with Meghan, I don't care what I look like, but it's gonna be on my YouTube banner. That's gonna be my banner photo. You hear me, Meghan? I'm still waiting for my photo up with you. Meghan and Harry. You know something? I always, every time I see Meghan and Harry, I don't know why, I always, like, sometimes I totally forget about Harry. Like, beautiful. But Harry, we love you equally. We love you equally. But there's something about our Duchess. There's something about her. Okay. Yes, we you know, people used to say how lucky Meghan is that you know, when they had gotten married initially, how lucky Meghan was to have gotten a prince. So Meghan said, "Wait a minute, I'm not chopped cheese, okay, or chopped liver. I'm not chopped liver. What about the other way around? What about he being lucky that he found me?" Okay, so. Yes, Meghan is a gem. She's a gem. She is a gem. She's very smart. She's compassionate. And she's just a great woman in general. Okay? So anyways, that's all for now. I hope this video makes sense. I said a lot, and you know, there was moments of sadness in it for me, you know, and you know, when you think about, you know, death, that you in the back of your mind you're thinking, you know, but what about your own you know, mortality as well, you know, and your children and all of those things you start thinking when you're talking, start thinking about. So yeah, it was a little bit solemn, but I guess that's a part of life. Okay, so take care and bye until the next video.